Hello and welcome back to Lorehammer. I'm your host Mark, and happy Sanguinala, one and all. Merry Christmas and Feliz Navidad. Today we're doing a special season's greetings episode, so welcome Gerald to the forefront. Hey.
Hello, Merry Happy Sanguibirthmas.
Yeah, yes indeed. And we also got Jordan joining us on this episode.
Happy Sanguinala, y'all.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. We've done a couple of these before on Lorehammer, and apparently this is like one of our most recommended episodes. Or like I got a bunch of people saying, "Are we doing one this year?" So normally I'm not very festive, but for the people, I'll sell my soul, and here we are.
Because we're doing it for you, the people.
Yeah. Happy Sanguinala. Merry Christmas, everyone. This is going to be released on Christmas Day for those listening. So, yeah, I hope you guys are having a good Christmas, some time with family, friends, if you're into that kind of thing. Hope you're getting good food. What's your guys' favorite kind of Christmas dish?
I just like mashed potatoes and gravy the most, probably.
Oh, okay.
We trade off between bacon a turkey and bacon a ham, so...
Do you do the pineapple on the ham?
Nope.
Oh.
Don't do that one.
Okay.
I personally don't mind it, but some folks in my family are a little bit more picky than I am.
Fuck those people. Yeah, I'm not picky at all. I feel like I keep wanting to buy a turkey down here and butcher it myself and cook one, but I just I don't know. I can't find the right turkey that's been eyeing me the wrong way. You know, if I'm gonna be murdering, it has to be like not so much like a hate crime and more like a crime of passion.
Just pick the fattest chicken you got. There you go. Just pretend it's a turkey.
Maldus in the chat says his favorite dish is corpse starch and gravy. So,
oh,
good man.
Yeah, that is a good dish. Bitter balls is something else. I've never heard of that before. But yeah, the chat's going strong tonight. We are going to do something different with the chat. I think when going through, we're going to have somebody kind of joining us throughout the whole episode. We're going to be swapping around and having people come in with us. So, keeping the festive spirit of having everyone involved in all of that. So let's go through the housekeeping real quick, and then we'll get to the episode. As I said, it's Merry Christmas. If you want to send Lorehammer a gift, I highly recommend you do that for the low price of whatever you're willing to give us. You can go to www.patreon.com/Lorehammer/gift, or just become a patron, or there's like one-time links in the description below where you can just click it one time and donate money on like PayPal or whatever. So there's lots of ways to donate money to your favorite podcast this Christmas season. Heck, if you even want to go buy merchandise, technically that counts as a gift for you and for me. So that's always nice.
It's a win-win. And speaking of winning on both sides, just like Mark said, just join the Patreon for as low as $2.50, which is less than a small McDonald's fry. You can get an ad-free version of the show on Spotify. You have to follow the Patreon link, I believe, or so I've been told. But anyways, for a ad-free video version, which is also basically the live stream, that'll round you about $5, which is still less than probably a quarter pounder combo. So you're doing good per month if you can manage that. So again, don't be a heretic. Join the Patreon. Join the Imperial Hive. We're all good folks here.
Absolutely. And if you want to jump in on the live stream, join the chat. Become a call-in guest at the end of the show. You can also get access to that if you're a patron. So, jump in on the live stream. It's fun. You can join me for whiskey and Warhammer, or perhaps today it'll be some spiced eggnog. What have you?
I need to go to that party.
Yeah, Jordan, what do you mix with eggnog? Do you mix any liquor in there, or do you have?
Yeah, you can just put like vodka in there. Is probably the best because it won't kill the eggnog flavor. Just something very bland.
Okay. Good to know. My wife, being out on the island there, we don't have a lot of access to goodies, but she learned how to make eggnog last year, and we used her fresh chicken eggs and shit, and it was so good, man. It was the richest eggnog I've ever had. It was wild. Yeah, man.
Okay. I'm gonna have to try that.
You get the fresh chicken eggs, and I'll send you the recipe. Like fucking 10 out of 10.
Brew eggnog. That sounds good.
Yeah, man. I just dropped a link in the chat if anyone wants to start joining us. The chat's asking for that recipe, so DM me on Discord and I can send you that recipe. But like I said, the key ingredient to that recipe is having your own chickens And then
Is love?
no, I don't think
Oh.
so. I think it's egg fresh from the chicken ass is the key ingredient.
Okay. Gotcha.
So our first call in is going to be Grimaldus, and hey, yeah, welcome to the show, homie.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hello.
Very good. Merry
Good,
Christmas
good.
to you.
Merry Christmas and all that good stuff. Good to see you fellows.
Yeah, so we already know your favorite Christmas treat, which is cornstarch and gravy. So you're just the guy to have dinner with, I suppose.
I mean, you got to have your right Imperial rations. I mean, we might get a protein bar here and there that we can kind of like mold to look like a turkey, but don't count on it.
Well, yeah, let's jump into the episode. This episode's going to be broken into a couple different parts. The starting part is just going to be kind of a free flow conversation. I got some talking points about what we think Sanguinala is. Then we're going to jump into some short stories that I thought were suited to the setting and the time of season. And then to finish it off, we're going to try to do a massive caller in section where I want to get as many people on the chat as possible, because we're going to be singing a Sanguinala carol together, the 50 of us. So that would be super fun. And I'm going to make it my ringtone probably. So
Beautiful.
might as well.
Beautiful.
Most ambitious recording to date.
Cool. So let's start with what the heck is Sanguinala? Well, it's the simplest way to put it. It's the feast in the day of the Imperium, honoring Sanguinius, Primarch of the Blood Angels, celebrated on the anniversary of Sanguinius's death during the Siege of Terra. Sanguinius is a Primarch of the Blood Angels, and he's like the one with the wings and considered the most like almost holy or angelic for sure. He's not the Emperor's favorite son, but he must be up there in preferred sons for sure, just with his appearance and whatnot. And during the Horus heresy, during the Siege of Terra, Sanguinius and the Emperor board Horus's flagship, and they get into an epic battle. First, it's Sanguinius versus Horus, and the Emperor is still kind of lost in the bowels of the ship. These massive 14-kilometer long ships. And Horus and Sanguinius battle, and sadly, Horus is no match for a dark-powered, souped-up Horus. And he is defeated and killed. And it is on this day that we remember that. Not just for the fact that he died, but because through his death, he was able to create a chink in the armor of Horus, or so the story goes, that the Emperor was later able to exploit, thus saving us all from damnation and Horus's reign of eternal fire. Thank you, Sanguinius.
Honored be his name.
Honored be his name. It's a pretty straightforward kind of mythos. We'll get into some other kind of stuff here, like cultural significance on other planets and stuff, or like how it's celebrated and stuff. But the important part to remember about Sanguinala is it's a rare moment of hope and unity in the grimdark universe in 40K. Like a Primarch died, and that's tragic, but it's a time where the entire Imperium can come together, because not only did Sanguinius die on this day, but Horus was also defeated on this day by Space Jesus, the Emperor. So it's like a big old nice time for everyone.
But wouldn't Sanguinius feel that Space Jesus, if it was his sacrifice?
Wait a minute.
Or am I wrong?
You're right, Jordan. You're right. I've already messed up the mythos of it all. That's true. Yes. Yeah. So.
Yeah, the God Emperor is like maybe God the Father, and Sanguinius is Christ the Son in this mythos. Mm-hmm. I don't know who the Holy Ghost is, but
it would be the Omnissiah. Duh.
It's all one and the same.
Oh yeah. There you go.
No, it's Aulus Patronage or whatever that one guardsman name was. Rumor has it another part of this story is when the Emperor and Horus are fighting each other, either a custodian or a lone guardsman somehow walks onto the bridge command ship of Horus's flagship, and Horus sees him walk there and then is flayed completely and utterly destroyed. He just wipes out that guardsman and or custodes. And during that moment, the Emperor is like, oh no, my son is truly irredeemable. So that's when he killed him finally. So that's nice. Without his sacrifice as well, we honor him too, even though we don't know who or what he is, but we honor him as well.
Absolutely.
I was just about to ask that same question.
Now, does this actually fall on the Terra date of December 25th?
Does Jesus's birth fall on December 25th, or was something co-opted at some point? Just like
No, it's closer to April, actually.
exactly. So numbers are fun in 40K, as we all know.
So then, wouldn't Sanguinala be kind of closer to the Christian Easter?
Yeah. Maybe, but I don't write for GW yet, mind you.
Oh,
I
you
will soon
will.
enough, but not yet. I will be the creative lead, Jordan. Me, you, and Christian, for sure. We've already put that onto the ethos. We've handed out our 3-way resume.
Yeah, if it's a 3-way.
No, sir, it's not.
I just picture the three of you, like stepbrother style. We're here to fuck shit up. All in this like awkward tuxedo, trying to like boost each other.
Yeah, I watched that movie the other day. Such a fucking classic, man. Oh man, yeah, it was pretty good. The cultural significance, a shared tradition across the Imperium. Despite the Imperium's vast diversity, Sanguinala is celebrated universally. The themes of faith and loyalty, it's a reminder of the Emperor's divinity and the sacrifices of Primarchs, a time of reprieve in the grimdark world, often the only moment of celebration in otherwise bleak lives. They don't have a lot of festivities and celebrations in the Imperium, so I can imagine the one day that they get for 20 minutes allotted to celebrate. It's quite the situation. They bring out the finest corpse starch for people to eat. They still have to meet their quota. They get 20 minutes off to celebrate, but that quota still has to be met later. But, it's 20 minutes where they don't have to worry about any of that.
Absolutely.
How Sanguinala is celebrated. Ceremonial processions and feasts, parades featuring effigies of Sanguinius, special masses and services held by the ecclesiarchy. There's art and storytelling, reciting of Sanguinius's deeds and legends, local customs and interpretations, variations of the celebrations of different hive worlds, forge worlds, and agri worlds. So what do you guys think some good ways to kind of celebrate this holiday would be? Whether do the Mechanicum celebrate it in their own kind of way? What's a good little tradition?
I don't know, rooting out heresy, killing Xenos. I don't know.
Yes, yeah. Yeah. Instead of hanging a star on the Christmas tree, you're hanging the corpse of a heretic freshly killed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Instead of
just burning heretics and Prometheum, it's Yule flavored Prometheum.
Yeah. Instead of tinsel, it's heretic intestines on the tree.
I feel like the tree wouldn't even exist, just kind of based on a lot of the hive cities' geography. To ship in all those trees, it just seems a lot. So I almost feel like it'd almost kind of be like Festivus. You raise yourself a pole, use a pole versus a tree,
economically friendly,
and then very similar. Exactly, you can reuse it, and like you said, stick yourself a heretic on it. Very similar to Vlad the Impaler style. Kind of counts his way down as soon as we're approaching Sanguinala. Once his bottom touches the floor, now's the time to celebrate, kind of deal.
Yeah, I imagine too. Maybe there would definitely be just a pull, and they don't know why they do it because it's just another carry on, that they just do for tradition. They don't know why it's a pull. It used to be a tree at one point, then it lost all the leaves. But there also must be a little altar to Sanguinius that you put a little candle by. Maybe you drop some type of fresh fruit next to it or whatever. I almost picture those Buddhist statues when you go into a Vietnamese restaurant or something like that, where they have little oranges, or Chinese restaurants or whatever.
It's just that little cat of Horus swiping away.
Yo, what the fuck is that cat all about? Gerald's grabbing a cat.
Say hello to builders.
That's a real cat, though.
Real one. No cat over here.
Hello.
Okay.
Happy Sanguinalis. Okay. We will add somebody else to the chat. Maybe somebody else will have a fun little way that people could celebrate. We'll call up Icarus to the stage.
What up, guys? Happy Sanguinala.
Yo,
Good at.
happy Sanguinala. How would you celebrate it? You're stuck on some planet in the Imperium. First of all, what kind of planet are you on, and how would you celebrate this special time?
So, where I live, farm area. So I would be on a farming world. So they gather out the community, and they'd have like a townhouse, a big nice like buffet. Everyone makes something, everyone cooks something, and then they have a big old feast. I think that's how they celebrate it.
Yes.
Tell stories.
And is there like a preferred dish? It can't be corpse starch, that's Grimaldus's jam, and I get it.
No, okay. So what's that cow called again? The Imperial cow.
Grox.
Yeah, fine Christmas grox.
Yeah, so I think they would make some real fine Crocs ragu. Put it in like a stew. Like a Crocs stew. I think that would be a very Christmas gift.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, it keeps you warm, brings hope.
Solid, warm, tasty. It's the flavor of the Imperium.
Grox, the flavor of the Imperium. Yeah, that's much better than corpse starch.
We should make it a slogan, man.
I think so.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Yeah. The Macrocs.
Cool. Sanguinala in the Ecclesiarchy. Introgation into the Imperial Creed. How the Ecclesiarchy promotes Sanguinala as a reinforcement of faith, symbolism of Sanguinius as a martyr, comparison to other saintly figures in the Imperium. How do we think the Ecclesiarchy really drives this holiday home, since they're probably like the driving force of it and like kind of the...
Yeah, I haven't looked, but would they have like, do you think like some sort of Christmas mass or something like that? Sanguinala mass, or they have some sort of procession and liturgy?
I would imagine so.
That's kind of how I would imagine it.
No, they definitely have some special.
Normally, like the Ecclesiarchy has all the candles covered already, but this one day, everyone has to bring all the candles that they own. So that way, the church has 1 billion candles, everyone else brings in their 50 candles, and they just light candles all day long. And that's the celebration in complete silence. Just lighting candle.
I imagine they cover the roofs in wax and then just light it on fire.
Yeah, all the spires on the chapels and stuff, they just light those.
Exactly.
I'm drawing up an image of like those wax-faced scholars from Dark Souls 3.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Like the church would definitely be the driving force. I'd imagine they would take a lot of donations during this time too.
Yeah. Oh, a lot of donations, huh?
If you donate now, maybe Sanguinius can come back to life. If we reach 10,000 Patreon subs, we'll bring him back.
If you donate now, the spirit of Sanguinala will come to your house and bless your family.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Very nice.
Sanguinala himself will deliver presents.
Sanguinius comes down the chimney and delivers more candles for you.
Yeah, except he has black wings now.
All the soot. Wait a minute, why is he glowing green? Why does he look like a metal skeleton?
Yep. Why's he got a skull?
Yeah, I just imagine all types of even in the Ecclesiarchy, there'd be no standard kind of way to celebrate this.
I recently read a story about Sanguinala, and it was where a Necron would deliver presents that were just mind scarabs on Sanguinala to slowly infect the people.
I'm glad you got that reference.
So I remember there was a child that was going to the Sanguinala tree to see if he could spy Sanguinala himself bringing the presents, and then he just walks in the living room. There's just a full-on Necron
was
there.
that on one of our Sanguinala episodes? I think it was.
That was one of y'all's old listener lore episodes, for Sanguinala.
Yeah, there's old listener lore, man. I love that story because it's just like a child and he's just a fucking Necron in the living room.
Very nice. Poor child, but happy in the end, ultimately.
Happy Sanguinala.
Happy Sanguinala.
Hey, listen, man, they take care of their subjects. Yeah. I'm just saying, guys, when the Necron overlords come, we should just worship.
As long as it's not the flayers, flaying you and putting you on their trees, but their pyramid structures could make hell of the candle situations, as you mentioned, dipping them in wax and lighting the tips on fire.
Do you guys think that Necrons are a fan of pyramid schemes?
I think with that, we kick you from the chat.
Go on.
Go on, get you filthy heathen. Don't leave though, Icarus. We will be calling a bunch of people to sing a carol with us at the end of this episode. So we still love you. We'll jump now to the next part of this is Sanguinala in the Blood Angels chapter, the chapter of Sanguinius itself. Like they must go hard on this holiday. This must be the craziest time of the year for them. The personal significance of the Blood Angels and their successors, reflections on the Primarch's sacrifice and their own cursed legacy, the Black Rage. Like maybe this is a very solemn time for the Blood Angels, and not really a time of celebration like it is in the rest of the Imperium, since the Blood Angels were so severely afflicted. What do you guys think?
I mean, I feel like the Blood Angels are always very somber and serious, so it'd be hard to see them getting into the Sanguinala spirit. But
I wonder if they feel like how the Grinch does, where all of a sudden now Sanguinala is overly
Yeah.
commercialized throughout the Imperium.
exactly.
This is our day. This was supposed to be our day, and then the Ecclesiarchy came, and they're just trying to sell Sanguinala cards.
It does beg a question, though. Obviously, Sanguinala celebrates Sanguinius, but do the other Space Marine chapters have any kind of a holiday of their own celebrating their Primarch?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I don't know if any come to mind. Like, with Reboot Gilliman coming back, that'd be a good day for the Imperium to turn into a holiday. The return of a Primarch Day could be a good one. But none are really coming to mind. I'm sure the Iron Hands aren't celebrating too much with their whole situation, but hard to say. But Blood Angels, there has to be. I think it's definitely more like a time of contemplation and prayer, and definitely for them, it's not a time of hope necessarily. Like this is the darkest time in their history, and it affected their whole fucking legacy forever. But at the same time, I'd imagine them seeing the rest of the Imperium, like while they're solemn, they see like the Imperium if they're on the planet with guardsmen during a war zone and the guardsmen are celebrating and happy and whatever. I think that would still bring some type of hope and happiness to the Blood Angels. We'll talk now about the contrasts across the Imperium, differences in scale and meaning, how feudal worlds versus hive worlds celebrate. Hive worlds, as we kind of joked, they probably don't have the same resources. Where out on that feudal world, they probably do up that nice Grox dinner, and they get an actual maybe week off and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure it's very different depending on the planet you're coming from, for sure. Heretics. What do we think about the heretics on Sanguinala? Because where the Imperium, it's like, a time of celebration. Yeah, it's sad that Sanguinius died, but also happy because the Emperor won. But the heretics, it's like their big bad died. Any chance of destroying the Imperium died with him.
I imagine that would kind of go like those Wicker Man festivals you hear about. They'll just like heretics will just get like giant effigies of Sanguinius and just.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's dark.
Just commit more heresy.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good one. Burning effigies of Sanguinius, the heretics are just like, it's like, they failed, but at least they accomplished that.
One less Primarch in the bunch.
Yeah. Let's call Jax back to the stage one final time to see if he's working it out. And then we can get his thoughts before we go into some of the stories. Hello, welcome.
Curs.
Oh,
okay. It's broken.
It's broken. It still can't hear.
And he's gone.
What do you think? How would you celebrate Sanguinala? What are your thoughts so far?
Sanguinala, the coolest holiday in 40k, besides Slaneshimus, of course.
Oh no,
that's where you shove a Christmas tree up your ass. It's very, it's very nice saying Slanishimus.
Root first.
Yeah, great holiday. Sadly, we don't get a Ferris Manus Easter Day.
You have to do something useful to be acknowledged, I think.
How dare you, Ferris? He was ahead of the game in that department.
What do you think the Blood Angels are like on this time of year? Are they solemn? Do they take part in the festivities?
They probably do. They, you usually have your blood angel hops down to a planet, screams Horus at everybody, kills them.
Another successful holiday with the Blood Angels.
Maybe send them down on those planets that are burning the effigies.
Yeah, there we
So
go.
win-win.
Yeah. Now Corn's celebrating.
Do we need a Horus Day just to build up like a giant statue of Horus and then burn it on Horus Day?
That would be heresy in and of itself, building a statue and even whispering his name. How dare you?
Acknowledging his existence is heresy. Are you a heretic?
Well, then again, that raises the question. Sanguinius had wings. He's a mutant, right? So if you hang him up on your tree, wouldn't that be heresy?
Or a job well done because he's a mutant. Yeah, hard to say.
Things to consider.
Yeah.
Maybe the heretics got a pass because they're burning a mutant.
I definitely like hanging heretics from the pole, though, for sure, as a way to celebrate this. Yeah.
I imagine this will lead to like a 50-year-long investigation with the Arbites, and it's like, well, you burned and hung an effigy of Sanguinius, our most beloved Primarch, honored be his name, but he was a mutant, so
So maybe 400 years of litigation, and we'll sort this one out. Let's go to the halls of judgment and your trial of rates.
Either way, you're not going to get a happy ending with this.
Where's our Curse Day? Come on, guys.
And he's gone.
Yeah, geez. One more mention of Kurz in the chat, and I'll flip the fuck out. So the closing thoughts on Sanguinala's Day is the importance of maintaining morale across the Imperium. It's a day, like we said, where the entire Imperium can get together, and while everyone's doing their own thing, it's still celebrating like something that's very important to the Imperium, and that is sacrifice. Like if you die in service of the Emperor, you are a hero, you are a legend. You will now go sit beside the Emperor. And also Sanguinala, the Horus was defeated that day. So two very useful things, two very good things.
You gotta sing Christmas carols around your tree, holding the hands of everybody you love around a burning pile of heretics and mutants. And you open a present, there's a grenade inside.
Yeah.
Just like, and 1, 2, 3, 4, ho, ho, ho. Burn the heretics and smear their blood on the walls. La 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 la.
So wholesome for the whole family. Bring your kids.
Ready to eat for everybody.
Cool.
Anyway.
Yeah, well, we will say bye to Jax for the moment, and we will get him back eventually here. So let's jump into some stories I wrote for this special time. The first one that I will read is called Hymns of the Angel. The chapter trembled as screams echoed from the village. Shadows danced on the stone walls, thrown by the flickering light of 100 candles. Outside, the piercing shrieks of the dark Eldar raiders mingled with the defiant roars of chainswords. Inside the humble chapel, the faces of the villagers were pale, their terror barely masked by clasped hands and muttered prayers. Chaplain Cassian stood at the center of the sanctuary, a mountain of sable armor etched with golden filigree. The crimson teardrop of Sanguinius adorned his chest, and his Crozius Arcanum gleamed in his grip, a symbol of faith and defiance. "Brothers and sisters," Cassius boomed, his voice steady, "do not falter. We are in the light of the angel. His sacrifice shields us, his courage fills our hearts. Outside, my brothers stand against the darkness, and here we raise our voices in his name. Let our faith be their armor and our hymns their strength." As the villagers hesitated, their fear heavy in the air, Cassius began the first hymn alone, his baritone voice rising unwavering above the din. He sang the hymn of the Crimson Martyr. "O angel, our guardian, with wings of crimson fire, who faced down the beast unbroken with the heart of dared aspire. Your blood was shed, your light endured to banish darkest fate. Your name we stand as one against the shadows' weight. Blessed be the blood you gave, the price you chose to pay. Though sacrifice eternal, you guard us every day. O angel, guide our hands, our hearts, our blades, our will in your name. We rise against and stand unyielding still. The villagers' voices joined, trembling at first, but growing stronger. Outside, an eerie hum of Dark Angel grav engines filled the night, followed by the snap crack of splinter weaponry. Cassius Voxbead crackled. Chaplain, this is Sergeant Kale. The Xenos press us harder. Reavers and Scourges are striking the flanks. Reinforcements are delayed. You will hold, Sergeant, Cassius commanded. You are sons of the angel, and your blood flows through you. His strength is yours. Hear the hymns of the faithful. They sing for you. The villagers finished the hymn, tears stemming down their faces as they clung to the melody like a lifeline. Cassian gestured to them to continue, rising his Corsius high. Now the song of his ascension. Raise your voices to the angel in heaven. And they began to sing the hymn of the ascended angel. From Baal's red sands to Terra's light, the angel soared above. A shield to guard the emperor's dream, a vessel of his love. He stood against the shadow's maw, against the endless tide, and in his death he rode anew, immortal at his side. Ascend now in scarlet glow, he watches from afar, a beacon to his chosen sons, our bright and burning star. O Sanguinius, our angel lord, we sing your name with pride. Through your grace we hold the line, no matter what betide. The hymn surged through the chapel as the villagers sang louder. Their fear transformed into fervor. Cassian heard the cries of his Astartes outside. The hymn carried on their lips as they pushed against the Xenos threat. Sergeant Kale, report, Cassian demanded. Chaplain. Kale's voice came through, fierce and determined. The hymn, we hear it. We feel it. The angel fights with us. Cassian allowed himself a grim smile. Then make him proud, Sergeant. Show the Xenos the wrath of Sanguinius. Outside, the Dark Angel struck with the cruelty of predators, toying with their prey. Reavers darted between buildings, their bladed bikes carving through stone and flesh. Scourges rained splinter fire from above, their laughter a cruel mockery. But the Blood Angels held the line. Brother Valen, his armor cracked and bloodied, charged a group of witches, his chainsword roaring as he carved through the lithe figures. Kale's power sword shimmered with blue energy as he cleaved into a reaver, then turned to block a venomous blade aimed at his heart. For the angel! Kale roared, his voice echoed by his squad. The hymns refrained thundered in their voxbead, filling their hearts with unshakable resolve. The villagers' voices swelled, their faith pouring out as Cassian led them another verse. Outside, bolter fire and the cries of the dying filled the night as the Blood Angels rallied their strength anew, and the hymn continued. O angel bright in the shadows deep, your light will ever shine, a beacon through the eternal night, a guide to the divine. With crimson wings and steadfast heart you rose against the foe. Through pain and loss you gave us hope and taught us how to grow. Through blood we bound, through faith we're one, no darkness can divide. Your courage flows within our veins, your strength will ever guide. O Sanguinius, our Savior bold, we sing this sacred morn. In your name we stand unbroken, in your name reborn. Inside the chapel, the final notes of the hymn faded. The villagers knelt, their voices reduced to whispers of prayer. Cassian stepped to the altar, lifting his Crozius toward the blood-red shrine of Sanguinius. O Lord Sanguinius, by your blood we endure, your sacrifice we prevail. Grant us this day the strength to protect your faithful, and we shall honor your name forever. The ground shuddered as an explosive erupted outside. Silence followed, broken only by the crackle of distant flame. Moments later, the chapel doors swung open. Sergeant Kale entered, his crimson armor battered but unbroken. He removed his helmet, revealing a face streaked with blood and soot. The Dark Eldar were driven off, Chaplain, Kale said, his voice heavy with exhaustion yet filled with pride. The angel guided us this night. Cassius turned to the villages, his voice ringing with triumph. You see, Faith is our greatest weapon. Through your voices, you stood with the sons of Sanguinius. Through your courage, you proved yourself worthy of his light. The villagers cheered, their cries echoing in the night. Outside, the blood angels gathered their wounded in their crimson armor, glowing in the firelight. Chaplain Cassius stepped into the cold night air, gazing the stars above. For the angel, he murmured, a rare smile grimacing his lips. Forever we stand in his light.
It's a Sanguinala miracle.
It is, Jordan. It
Praise,
is.
honored be his name.
I'm so happy. None of the villagers died, and they all learned a new hymn at the end that they can now chant while at the factory line next working day, because they are going back to work tomorrow.
truly the most grimdark of grimdark endings.
Yeah, so that was story one. Some nice singing in there. You know, I imagine, yeah, this is a time of great hope for the Imperium, and like the warp is a mysterious and fickle thing, and I like to think that if enough people are singing these hymns at the proper time and across the entire galaxy similar hymns are being sung, maybe the heroes of the Imperium are really benefiting. Maybe an angel really does appear and saves people from the darkness.
I mean, there's always that possibility of the, what they call it, the Sanguinor. I'm not as familiar with my Blood Angels lore, but could be some kind of warp entity of sorts, maybe.
Yeah, for sure. I was tempted to write the Sanguinor into this episode, but I didn't want to have to explain. You know, you're saying Sanguinius a whole bunch already, and whatever.
We'll save that for the Blood Angels episodes.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's jump to our next little Christmas story. Gerald, what do we have here?
So, tonight we got ourselves a nice little Mork and Gorkmas story, narrated by your very own War Boss Cracker. The night before Grokmas, or is it Morkmas? A Gorka Morkmas night. 'Twas the night of Gorka Morkmas, and all across the Orc camp, the boys were snoring loud enough to drown out the roaring of their ramshackle engines. The moon was high in the smoky sky, its greenish glow casting long shadows over piles of scrap, teeth, and all assorted loot orcs held dear. Deep within the camp, sneaking under the cover of midnight, crept the most cunning and sneaky git of them all, the Red Garbo. Dressed in his bright red coat and pointed hat, he lugged a sack almost bigger than himself, stuffed with pilfered junk from earlier in the week. "This'll be a proper Gorkmas, it will," the red Gobbo muttered to himself with a wicked grin. "Time to spread the loot and the crumpin'." The Gobbo crept up to the nearest orc hut, a rickety pile of corrugated metal held together by spit and spite. Inside, Big Mech Grizzguts snored in a pile of grease-stained rags, clutching a shiny spanner like it was his favorite chopper. Quiet as a squig hunting grot, the red Gobbo snatched the spanner, a sack of teeth, and a shiny red button that probably didn't do anything but look dead flashy. Then with the loot in tow, he skittered over to another hut belonging to a particularly dim knob named Gut Ripper. The Gobbo cackled to himself as he dumped the stolen loot under Gut Ripper's bunk, knowing full well that orcs never looked too hard for explanations when things went missing. The sun rose sluggishly over the camp. Its light filtered through the perpetual haze of burning promethium and exhaust fumes. Big Mech Grizzguts woke with a start, patting around for his spanner. When his greasy hands came up empty, his face twisted into a snarl. "Oi! Who nicked my spanner?" he bellowed, kicking over his workbench. Elsewhere in the camp, other orcs were waking up to find their prize loot missing. A shooter boy named Skargrim swore up and down that someone had nabbed his favorite Dacker barrel, while war truck driver Springkiller roared that his stash of squig jerky had vanished. Accusations started flying around immediately, and the camp quickly became a boiling pot of distrust. When Big Mech Grizzguts stormed into Gut Ripper's hut looking for answers, he spotted his shiny red button glinting under the knob's bunk. "Oi, you zogging thieving git!" Grizzguts roared, grabbing the much larger orc by the collar. "I didn't nick nothing, you mecky grot," Gut Ripper snarled back. But it was too late. Grizzguts clocked him with a wrench, and the fight was on. And now for the great Gorkmas brawl. The sound of fists smashing into jaws and furniture being broken drew other orcs like Master Flame. Within minutes, the entire camp was a battlefield. Boys charged into each other's huts, each convinced that their best loot had been stolen by somebody else. A group of storm boys dive-bombed a pile of crates where a particularly sneaky commando had been hiding his stash of scrap. Must have been painted purple. Only to be ambushed by a gang of shooter boys, wielding everything from rusty choppers to squig sausages. Gretchen darted between the chaos, swiping whatever shiny bits they could carry before getting booted halfway across the camp. Rightly so. Above it all, watching from the rafters of a half-collapsed watchtower, the Red Gobbo laughed so hard he nearly fell off his perch. Gorkmas' spirit is strong this year, he cackled, wiping a tear from his eye. And now for the festive climax, the brawl raged on well into the afternoon, with orcs swinging makeshift weapons, shouting curses, and occasionally stopping to admire particularly flashy loot before getting tackled by someone else. Finally, the war boss himself, a hulking brute named Scars Crack, stomped into the middle of the chaos. His booming voice silenced the camp for a brief moment. Oi, what's all this racket about? He roared, his power claw snapping for emphasis. One of the boys, sporting a black eye and a bloody nose, pointed to Gut Ripper, who was sitting on a pile of loot that wasn't entirely his. He nicked all our stuff, boss. No, it was the sneaky git-mech over there. Gut Ripper shot back, pointing at Grizz Gut. Before Scar's Crack could make sense of it, someone threw a rock, and the brawl erupted all over again. Now with the war boss himself joining in. By the time the dust settled, most of the orcs were nursing bruises and missing teeth. But the camp was also filled with laughter and the sound of the boys showing off their new loot. This was the best Gorkmas ever, one of the boys declared, hoisting a shiny spanner he'd nicked off someone else. Meanwhile, the Red Gobbo slipped away into the night, his sack now empty, but his heart full of mischief. Another Gorkmas, another proper scrap, he muttered to himself, disappearing into the shadows. I love this time of year. Now, some of you Umis might be asking, what is the true meaning of Gorkmas and Morkmas? Well, the orcs celebrate in their own special way, through theft, violence, and a share of love, and a share for the love of Krumpen. For them, it wasn't about who had the most loot or who won the fight. It was about the brawl, the chaos, and the pure joy of being Orky. Because at the end of the day, whether it was Gork or Mork who started the tradition, one thing was certain. Gorkmas and Morkmas was the best time for a good scrap. Wah!
That is a truly beautiful story. Stunning, really. So now we have a feast for the hive mind. Let me get into character here. Journal entry 998 M41 Sanguinala. It's Sanguinala today, or at least that's what the commissar said during morning inspection. Hard to tell anymore with the sky choked black and the horizon crawling with tyranids. I haven't written in this journal for weeks. The pages are mostly blank, like I'd convinced myself I don't need to bother. What's the point, right? Writing down thoughts and prayers when I'm about to get eaten or pulped or turned into muck slime for the hive fleet? Waste of time. But today feels different. When I was a kid, it was my favorite holiday. My parents didn't have much, and a cramped hab on Fornex Tertius doesn't exactly seem luxury. But on Sanguinala, there'll always be something special. A slice of amasec cake, a hololith of the angel himself displayed on the central square, glowing red and gold while hymns blared from Vox speakers. Dad would sit me on his knee and tell me about the Emperor's Sanguinius, his sacrifice, his courage, his eternal vigilance. Remember, boy, he said, roughing my hair, Sanguinius gave everything so that mankind could have another day. Always honor the angel's day. Funny that. I've been doing the Emperor's work for nearly 10 years now. and this will be my last Sanguinala. Don't think I'll be honoring the angel much when my guts are decorating some lictor's claws. The commissar gave a speech this morning. Can't remember most of it. Something about duty and faith. He always tries to talk big before feeding swarms crest the barricades. Still, words barely reached half of us. Most of the lads can't even look him in the eye anymore. Makes me wonder if it's cowardice or just exhaustion. Sergeant Drell passed me some of his ration bar during the briefing. Didn't say a word. Just shoved it into my hand and walked off. I think it's his way of marking the holiday. But who knows? We don't have cake or hololists out here. No hymns. Just las guns that overheat and trenches that stink worse than the digestion pools waiting for us on the other side of the ridge. The Nids are out there now. I can hear them sometimes, chittering in the distance. The ground shakes every hour or so, which means the bigger ones are getting closer. Last night we lost the Vox network. Some scout got too close to a Carnifex and got pulped, right along with the transmitter. Drell says we're on our own now. No evac, no backup. I reckon it's the same all over the planet. Hive Fleet Nemesis is good at that. First they cut you off, then they bleed you dry. And then they feast. Feast. Now there's a word. Sanguinala is meant to be a feast, isn't it? A time to drink and eat, to share stories of the angel, to feel human. I wonder if the Tyranids feel the same way. Maybe to them this is just a big celebration. Happy Sanguinala, Hive Fleet. Here's your gift. 8 billion souls to crack open like Grok's eggs. Cities to strip bare. Oceans to drink forests. To mulch into slurry. It's almost funny when you think about it. They'll consume everything, even us, especially us. This year's Sanguinala feast isn't for the angel or the emperor of mankind. It's for the great devourer. We'll make a stand tonight. Drell says we've got enough power packs to hold the ridge for a few hours. Maybe more if we're lucky. Not that it matters. The commissar keeps harping on about fighting to the last man. And honestly, I don't think any of us will need much convincing. I've seen what the Nids do to prisoners. I'd rather face the business end of my lasgun than one of their digestion pools. Still, part of me wonders if this is what Sanguinius felt in his last moments. He knew he was going to die, didn't he? Standing against the War Master, staring down certain doom. Did he feel this same quiet dread? Did he look up at the stars and wish, just for a moment, that he could have been anywhere else? I'm no angel of death. I don't have wings or golden armor or the Emperor's blessing. But maybe that's the point. Maybe it's about standing firm even when there's nothing left. Maybe that's how you honor Sanguinius. I can see them now. The horizon's crawling with shadows, chitin glinting in the dying light. Chittering's louder, closer. The lads are shouting, loading up what's left of our munitions. Someone started humming the old hymn for the angel's sacrifice. Others joined in. Their voices cracked and hoarse, but it's better than silence. The commissar is shouting orders. Drell's already on the barricade, barking at us to move. Time to go. If anyone finds this journal, if there's anyone left after the swarm, do me a favor. Light a candle for me next Sanguinala and tell my dad I remembered the angel. Signed, Guardsman First Class Tavis Carr, 145th Fornex Infantry. Postscript. When the sun rose the next day, the ridge was silent. The Tyranids moved on. leaving behind only churned earth and scattered corpses among the debris. A tattered journal lay half buried, its pages smudged with dirt and blood, and somewhere high above, far beyond mortal comprehension, the hive mind consumed its feast.
Happy Sanguinala, Tyrannid fleet.
Even the Tyrannids get to celebrate.
Yes, they do. I'm telling you, it's the great unifying holiday, not just for the Imperium, but for the galaxy. The orcs get some, the Tyrannids get some. Beautiful.
Tyrannids kind of strike me as one of those CE believers. Kind of like the joke is you have your devout Catholics and then you have your CE Catholics, which are the ones that only show up during Christmas and Easter.
All right. Well, we got one more little festivity here, and that's Sanguinius Glows Christmas Carol that we will be singing. So I'm gonna pull a bunch of people to the stage here. Welcome everyone back. The tune of this one is "Let It Snow, Let It Snow, Let It Snow. The weather outside is frightful." You know that song. So we can keep that tune in the back of the mind as we sing Sanguinius Glows. I did post this song into the Discord channel, the Imperial Ties, so I think everyone should have it ready to go. And yeah, maybe on the count of 3, we'll lead it off. 1, 2, 3. Oh, the
galaxy is bleak and
dire.
dire. Warp storms grow higher. But faith in him still grows. Xenos are ever creeping. Heretics, their lives are seeping. Yet the angels light still shows. Sanguinius glows. Where the darkness falls too deep, and our hearts are filled with dread, we recall his sacrifice, and the blood that he has shed. So we lift our hymns in glory to the Savior's eternal story. Through his love the Emperor chose. Sanguinius glows.
Beautiful, everyone. Well done. Well done. Yeah, take a bow. Truly one of the most masterful songs ever written and ever performed. I think we could win some type of Grammy, Oscar, whatever they do for music. I don't fucking know. Well, happy Sanguinala, everyone. We'll kind of everyone on the chat right now who's not the 3 of the main hosts, you can say goodbye and Merry Christmas to your family if you want.
Merry Christmas, everybody. None of my family will be listening to this because they think I'm a weirdo.
I don't blame them.
Family, if you ever listen to this, sister, you owe me $20.
And Grimaldo, any final words?
Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, all that good stuff, and any other non-denominational things that I'm missing out. But biggest thing, Happy Sanguinial, and we'll leave you boys to it.
What an episode. Wow. Well, boys, Merry Christmas to you. I hope you guys get your favorite meals and some time with your family. And I hope this kind of just brought a smile to your Christmas day, just listening to some idiots talk about 40K.
Truly the best kind.
And sing a Sanguinala hymn in 4 different keys. So.
Yeah, and 4 different times too. That's gonna be fun to edit that.
I do not envy your position right now.
Yeah, well, I do it for the people. Yeah, well, that's that episode. Nice and quick. We'll do some end notes here before we call her. If you like some of these short stories that were written, none of them will be featured on Lorehammer Listener Lore, but we feature plenty of stuff like that on the Lorehammer Listener Lore podcast where people write their homebrew, and I'm sure I'll get my inbox flooded with your own Christmas Sanguinala short stories now, so excited to see some of those. Go check out the Lorehammer Listener Lore podcast.
And whenever you're done reading about the grim darkness of the far future, you can learn about the grim darkness of Warhammer Fantasy with the Grimlore podcast, where I and Rayway talk about Warhammer Fantasy and Age of Sigmar and Halo and Destiny. And then whatever Grimdark Sins we feel like talking about.
Very nice. And we just did a crossover episode. So by the time this episode's released, I'm pretty sure yours will be out and on your feed. And give it another week after this episode, and it should be released on this feed as well. But we did this cool Warp crossover episode. It's a lot of fun.
It's a fun one. So come on over to the Grimlore crossover. That episode is out now. Or if you just want to wait for Mark to release it for the Lorehammer side of things, that's fine too.
Absolutely. And if you want to listen to the best Star Wars podcast on the HoloNet, go check out the Star Wars podcast. Christian and I do that. And we have also done a crossover episode with Grimlore as well. So go listen to that episode. Listen to all the crossover episodes.
Might as well on this holiday season, fill up your time instead of hanging out with your family. I listened to some of the commercials that you guys put on Star Wars. You do these like in universe commercials, and they're so funny, like a Mandalorian energy drink and shit. They're pretty good.
Yeah. They're pretty fun, some of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Cool. And the final shout out we will do is to our newest Patreon members. Guys, seriously, thank you all so much for contributing. The Patreon grows every day quite steadily. It's very encouraging. I'm loving doing Lorehammer. I'm loving doing how much we are doing it. And that's all thanks to the Patreon members. So thank you so much this time to Sir Hat, Pat, Matthew, and Craig. It's only been a couple days since I recorded, and the Patreon grows steadily each day. So seriously, thank you so much. And if you haven't already, why haven't you? What do I need to do? Do you want to see me shirtless? I'll do it. I'll do whatever I have to for $1 to feed my daughter. I'll sell my soul so she won't have to. So definitely join the Patreon so we can feed our family.
Nudes from Mark.
Nudes from Mark. Yes, sir. Cool. Well, Merry Christmas. Happy Sanguinala to everyone. And we'll see you all in the next episode of Lorehammer.